Okay, it's 9 o'clock in the UK. It's 4 o'clock here. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, right now it's 4:43 in the morning for me to be up. But yeah, I'm just trying to stay in time zones, in proper time zones. It's 9 o'clock in the morning in the UK. And this is the family version. So I want to get to the bottom of something. Yeah, well, not too much. People ask me, is this the adult show or is this the family show? This is the family show. I encourage parents to watch with their kids. And oh, I got a like already. Let me see. Am I in the right setting? All messages. There we go. Now we'll see how this goes. Maybe I shouldn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I guess I'm just, yeah, this is one of those weird things. At 6 o'clock, no, on the 16th of this month, I'm going to be having a full moon party. And I think I'll do an adult version well, no, I'll do an adult version of the full moon party. Full moon party. I think that'd be fun. I've done a few other full moon parties. And they went pretty well. What we do is we wait until the moon is full, and we all howl when the moon is full. On the 16th at midnight is when the moon will be completely full. And you know what? I gotta be kind of quiet. Save our economy. I know, I think there might be still time. America is in debt. America. We need to get the right people involved with fixing this country. Fixing or fine-tuning this country. See, I grew up in the 70s, 80s. The economy was really good back in the 70s and 80s. We didn't have problems too much. No, I have moderators, very special moderators right now. Because I started letting people be moderators before I even knew what I was getting into. I hear I've experienced for myself that moderators cause a lot of issues. Because people get timed out. Hey Joe, how on earth did you survive the AIDS? I don't know. How on earth did I survive? You know what? It was an epidemic. A lot of people came up with different medications nowadays. But I remember, yeah, that was a big scare back in the 80s when I grew up. Oh my God, everybody was scared to touch anybody. Mods are the fuzz. Did you... Oh, you did more than survive. I did more than just survive. Yeah, AIDS, when it first came out, it was in the 80s, during the Reagan administration. And I think there was a lot of, they called it safe sex. Well, anyways, this is a family show. I can't talk about that. But we'll talk about it on my adult show. I'm trying to straddle between adult show and family show. Open some Pokemon cards. CIA cooked it up. I hear a lot about the CIA. They did a lot of strange experiments, like the MK Ultra, Manchurian Candidate. Everybody who was on the same path as you made it. That could be it. That could be it, you know, because I was a church boy. I was a little church boy, and but as I was an adolescent and adult, a lot of rumors were going around about who had AIDS. Men staring at goats. Yes, have you seen that movie? I think George Clooney was in that movie, Men Who Stare at Goats. Yeah, psyops. It makes you paranoid after a while. All these different programs, different experiments. They experimented a lot on soldiers. And I heard lobotomies were done. You ever watch that Morbid Facts? You probably see things others don't. You know what? I see things people don't pay attention to. A lot of people don't pay attention to certain signs and signals. Your Negroes, they experiment a lot on viruses. I know, all over the world, they say in the Geneva Convention that you can't use biological chemical warfare, but they do. I'm pretty sure they still, they contain certain diseases. They have them. It's like, why not eradicate? Polio was a really bad one. Polio for a long time, before they came up with a vaccine for polio. Plum Island. Yeah. Yes. And it's transmitted through ticks, they say. Are there are no rules, only for the weak. Yeah, rules are only for the weak. COVID-19, I'm sure COVID-26 will be even more. You know what? Monkeypox is starting to catch on. A lot of people are here in Georgia. I hear there was a case. They experiment with crazy shit daily. Community was hit the hardest. I know. And they say, I've noticed monkeypox, when it appears, it's all over the mouth. And I'm wondering, they're kissing each other. And it takes a little while to incubate. It takes a while for it to show up, you know, with the symptoms. Sometimes these diseases, they're asymptomatic, and then suddenly they have the symptoms. So you can kiss somebody you don't know has monkeypox. Nobody's allowed to talk about that stuff because trouble is around the corner if you do. I've noticed that. I'm always concerned about what I talk about because everybody is reporting or they're keeping dibs because they made it political. Yeah, it's all about who is on watch or whose watch did that happen, and they want to make it, was it the Democrats? Was it the Republicans? And Hesseny, what's Hennessy? I sipped in Hennessy. Hennessy is a whiskey, isn't it? If I don't, people use code words a lot. Crazy world. I know, everywhere. Protests going on, protests and epidemics. It's like, this is a new renaissance, I think. Remember the Renaissance after the fall of the Roman Empire? Everyone, all the rules changed, all the behaviors changed. People started to get into sciences because nobody was religious anymore. Henny is a cognac. Oh, a pimp. Let's see. Dark Ages. I know. The Dark Ages, then the Middle Ages. And I think that's what it is people are coming back to school. They're going back to school because vacation is over. and there's a lot of violent outbreaks, shootings going on. They're saying these people that are doing the shooting, uh, never been seen before. They said that about the Georgia shooting in Appalachia. One of the neighbors said, "I never saw that kid before the shooting." Try it with Coca-Cola. Sometimes it's the bee's knees. It's all very, yes. So anyway, it's a scary world we live in. All we could do is keep each other informed. Like the Bible says, watch therefore and pray. Watch therefore and pray. A lot of spooky stuff if you read Revelations. I wonder how much of that is code. Some of the Bible is literal, and some of the Bible is code, because they had to hide from the Romans during that time. Too many rats in cages. Are you a pimp? Much respect. World is scary. That's why I think Hennessy, a Babsum, are wax. Cheers, pimpin'. No, that was a cane. You ever heard of a pimp cane? My pimp cane. That was a term. That was a term, I think, back in the 90s. Big Pimpin'. They had a song called Big Pimpin'. Big Pimpin'. And when I saw that cane, that's what I thought of. Big Daddy Cane, that's right. It's a status symbol. It used to be a status symbol, what kind of cane you had. Homie got the pimp cane. That's right, for show. Well, pimp. I have a collection of canes. Cheese, spend the cheese. Spending the cheese. They say green is for the money and gold is for the honeys. I think that's what Snoop Dogg used to say. Green is for the money and gold is for the honeys. For show. Good night. You have a good day. Good night. Yes, good night. Because in the UK it's like 9 o'clock. 9 or 10 o'clock. In the morning. We're still in the morning here. And I got 2 viewers. 3 likes. And I'm trying to keep it down. Somebody might be trying to sleep today. It's 2 a.m. in California. Oh, that's where I used to live. I used to live in California. Sacramento, California. I used to live in, where else did I go? I was in Rancho Cordova, California. That's more of a country area. Rancho Cordova. Then there was another, I don't remember where I lived. I lived in so many places in California. Because when I was in my 20s, I had to relocate because the apartment complex that I was in was charging too much. So I had to move to a lower rent. 5 in SC. 2 a.m. Wow. So you're up at 2 a.m. in California. You know what I'm not hearing much of is crickets. We're hearing a lot of cicadas here. They say the cicadas are back in full swing. So many different breeds of cicada are coming to life. They were saying we're going to be overpowered by cicadas. Those little creatures that crawl up from the ground with pincers. And then they blossom into those alien-looking creatures. I did see a praying mantis, though. I was able to record the praying mantis. But I haven't seen a lot of praying mantises. It's always a treat to see one because there's so few. It's been 15 minutes. Let's see let's see what happens. These are pretty spontaneous. This is unscripted. All I do is answer questions. And I've been answering a lot of questions lately, especially when you want to do a family show. So I was in, California. Carmichael, that's where I lived, Carmichael, California. On Manzanita Avenue in Carmichael. I used to always go to the Denny's on Manzanita Avenue after I went clubbing. After I went to the club, on the way home, I would go to that Denny's. I would have a breakfast. Because it didn't matter what time you came to Denny's, because it was a 24-hour place to eat. And I noticed when I went to the club, I would see the same people at Denny's that I saw at the club. The club would be open until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as the club shut down, I would go to Denny's because I was going to get breakfast. Some people went there to sober up. I would get the non-alcoholic beer. I would get like the O'Doul's because I had to drive. I'd either get a Red Bull or something like that, the non-alcoholic drinks. And then I would get into my car and I would drive home. And on the way home, Denny's. And then it would be 5 o'clock, and then, which was still dark. It was still dark between 4 and 5. Denny's had the best nachos. I would always order nachos. Or the big breakfast, the Grand Slam breakfast. That's what they called it at Denny's. Grand Slam. You got eggs and your choice of bacon, egg, or sausage. Bacon or sausage or ham. I like at IHOP, they have the sampler platter. You got everything at IHOP. Is this still working? I think I did that, yeah. Sometimes the chat stops. Has the chat stopped? I've had to start new lives because the chat quit working. I bet you everybody's trying to type something in. What happens is the chat goes out and then people start dropping away because they can't chat. And sometimes that happens. So I might here we go. Ryan, I guess. Welcome to the family version of Eddie's Funhouse. Family version, yeah. I've been watching too much Tim and Eric. I'm starting to act like Eric Wareheim. I'm starting to pick up his mannerisms. Tim and Eric was on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. Has Edgar been here? Yes, Edgar is a good friend now. He comes to my adult show. Why do you ask? Yeah, a lot of people are starting to get an idea of what my channel is about. So I think that's what it is. People are seeing me for the first time, and they go, "What's up with this? He does a family show, and then he does an adult show." But then again, I've learned how to age restrict. When I age restrict, I just wanted to know if he was still falsely. No, he's not. He understands what's going on now. Because again, he was confused about the family show and the adult show. Because before I was just doing family shows, and he suggested that I do adult shows, and yeah, I think a lot of people were falsely accusing me. They didn't know what I was up to. What, this guy talks to kids? Is he sick? Is something wrong with him? He talks to kids. What was happening when I first did my show, I thought I was only talking to people my age and older, or around 18, because my demographic said like 25 and older. So that's who I thought I was talking to. And then I started noticing, I started asking ages. And they said, well, I'm a 9. I'm 11. I'm 14. So I figured, they're my demographic. And some of them were subscribing. So I didn't want to lose subscribers. So I said, you know what, I'll turn this into a family thing. And then now I'm starting to get adults. Now I'm starting to get a lot more adults watching the show. When I do the adult show, it's like, that's what I wanted in the first place. And it's like, yeah, people started freaking out. This guy's talking to kids. What's wrong with him? Doesn't everybody, you're in a setting where there's family. You're at a restaurant. That's why it's always good to have the parents around. If the parents are there, they're seeing everything that happens. And that's what I was trying to do here. That's what I'm trying to do here. Get the parents to watch. It's no problem. Because that way it's for the kids' protection and mine. Yeah. It was amazing how many people. Depeche Mode. Why are you up so late? Actually, it's early. Here, it's 5:05. My brother gets up around this time. And he usually texts me good morning or something like that. I think that's why I'm up so early. And I wanted to, because it's in the UK, it's 10 o'clock now. It's 10 o'clock in the UK. And I'm trying to get in with the different time zones. I'm about to go to the gym. Good. A lot of people should head to the gym. They wouldn't have so much stress when you work out. Yeah, it's 10:05. Yeah. People are up having breakfast in the UK. But for me, it's 5 o'clock. And I got to get up around this time because I got jury duty. They send you scary letters when you're selected for jury duty. They send you, like, you have to be here at 8 o'clock. You have to call this number. I was selected for jury duty in California, and it was a lot easier. I got time off work. They have to let you go if you're called for jury duty, or your employer gets in trouble. Here they pay you more. They pay you more for jury duty. It's like $20, $25 a day. And in California, I think it was only like $12. It was kind of fun because you get to be a juror. You get to watch the whole court process. You can be selected, and then you have to be selected again because the lawyers have to interview you and see if you're a good candidate for their case. Sometimes you just go into the jury pool. You show up and you wait for a case to come up. Oh wow, 2 a.m. over in California? Yeah, because we're on the east side. Oh my goodness, that is old. That is early, 2 a.m. I'm usually asleep. You got a question. What's your question? Can I confirm it's 2 a.m. at Long Beach, California? It is 2 a.m. in California, because they're on the west side. Do you want to be an edit? Do you want to be in edit videos? What's going to happen in the edit? I'm going to type do something cool for an edit. I've been in a couple of edits. I don't know how many you're actually being seen. Somebody said dance for an edit or name a car for an edit, and then I guess they edit me saying Lamborghini, or they edit me saying Jaguar or something like that. West Side, when we ride, come equipped with game. Come equipped with a game. There's a girl on YouTube now that I guess she owns a game store, and she goes through her day in the life. People are they come by with their Nintendos and they sell them to the store. That kind of reminds me of Dimple Records. Dimple Records in California. You could bring in your CDs, DVDs, and your games, and they would buy them from you and sell them at a markup. Tupac, those are, oh really? Those are 2 a.m. Could somebody verify? Tupac. He was in a couple of movies. Nothing But Trouble. You ever watched Nothing But Trouble with Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase? Tupac was in that movie. Out of courtesy, what made you do live streaming? Oh, curiosity. Out of curiosity. I think I just wanted to get to know my audience, because um, old YouTube used to be videos. That's all they did was upload videos. And then they went to shorts, and then they went to lives. And people like to talk directly to the YouTubers because they like that live interaction. And I thought, you know what? Why not get my finger in that pie? Why not go or spin that plate or whatever expression you want to use? Above the rim, juice, etc. Above the rim. Juice, you're talking about OJ the Juice? I heard that OJ passed away. He was out and about because he was found not guilty, and then he wrote a couple of books. That's what I think of when I see Juice. Above the rim. Juice was known for football, though. He was a football guy. Tupac movies. Okay. Now I'm catching on. Wow, it is early. It's early when you can't catch on right away. So I just wanted to see how my subscribers are doing. How I think you're about 40 years old and enjoy your content. Oh, I enjoy your content. And thinking about doing my own live. I encourage that. You know what? You really get to know people and people get to know you. It's like you're opening up a door to family. You do get a lot of trolls. You get a lot of false accusations sometimes. But if you can get through that, then it's fun. It's fun because you start to become familiar with who lives where and certain personalities. So yeah, it's good for you if you're into that. OJ was found not guilty in the late 1990s. I remember that because I was working then, and a lot of people were mad because they found him not guilty. I remember that. I remember watching the whole thing happen on TV. They were chasing him in a white Ford Bronco. If you're guilty, why would you run? If you're not guilty, if you're innocent, why would you run? That whole thing, the Menendez brothers, Dorothea Montalvo Puente. I was there when that happened. Dorothea Montalvo Puente. Google her, and she was burying people in her backyard. I know. And people were mad. I'm pretty sure. You're trying to watch the NFL, And all of a sudden, well, here's the latest on the OJ Simpson trial. I haven't seen many like that anymore. What other ones? What other ones were they? Lately, it's all just school shootings everywhere. Well, not well. Yeah, it was in Georgia, and then there was another one where only one person was shot. But everybody needs to. They need to search people or keep an eye out. If you see something, say something. I feel old now because I was a teenager when he was found guilty. Huh. I was in my 20s. I think, yeah, I was in my 20s when they found OJ guilty. So you think you feel old. What else did I live through? I think a lot of us lived through 9/11. Some people are 21 years old now, 22 years old now, that were born around that time. Time. And then there was Ghost Inside My Child. You ever watch that movie? Or it's a show. It's a series called Ghost Inside My Child. There's one of those. Uh, it's like proof of reincarnation. This kid was saying that he was at 9/11 when it happened. He remembered falling out of the building or having to jump out of the building, and the parents didn't know what to do about it. And then Psychic Kids. That was another one. That's probably pretty interesting to watch around Halloween. All these kids get together who have psychic abilities. I was born 7 days after 9/11. See, that's kind of like the timeline. I remember I was at work on 9/11. I was at work testing pool chemicals because we had a swimming pool behind our clubhouse, a clubhouse that they turned into an office building, and or yeah, it was office. But I was out there testing chemicals, and my boss came out and said, "A plane hit one of the towers." And okay, a plane hit a tower, but she was talking about New York, and I was in California. Yeah, I was working as a maintenance guy in California, and it was just so weird. I was just at the pool area, and then my boss comes out of the back door. Some A plane just hit one of the towers. You know what? There was another incident where the Trade Center towers were bombed. It was in the 90s. In the 90s, it's the same location. This time it wasn't airplanes. It was just a bombing. Oklahoma City bombing. Oh my God. It goes from bombings to shootings. But that's our history. And when you're there, kind of like when the Pearl Harbor happened. Yeah. And Waco, remember Steve Koresh or Dave Koresh? I think it was Dave Koresh. He had his Davidian compound, Ranch Davidian. He was like a weird guy who lived in a compound, and the federal agents showed up, started smoking him out. I was watching that unfold too. What other stuff did I see? There was Ellie Nessler. Ellie Nessler had shot her child's offender. That was going on too for a while. One kid was violated by his karate instructor, and his father waited for him at the airport and shot him. He got off. He got off because, you know, the jury found him not guilty. A lady did that too. You know what? There's a lot of people who take vengeance on people who uh, assault their family. You can't say the R word. Yeah. I guess you get demonetized if you use 1993 bombing attempt on the World Trade Center. Yeah, that's what I remember. I was at work when I heard about that. Somebody, the Trade Center, and what was funny is one of our locations was Trade Center Drive, and so that kind of, it's like, okay, So there's a trade center in New York, and there's a Trade Center Drive in California. Oh, the midnight shift, and there were signs on the door where all, yeah, and they kept playing the towers. It looked like two cigarettes sticking up in the air, and it was just everybody was, and it was traumatic too. After all that rubble, they were sifting through the rubble to find survivors. Some people, you know what? After 9/11, they started sending parts of the tower. They started in our courthouse. No, the DMV. When I go to the DMV, I walk by one of the I-beams. That's kind of creepy. You know, that was actually there at during 9/11. It was part of the building. And when I was at the fair, at the California State Fair, they did a memorial at the California State Fair. They had like this huge ball with writing on it that was suspended by water. And they had a big old piece of one of the towers. And I guess people were, there was pictures. You can go there and it was like a little museum outside the building. And there was one girl that was a woman that was there, and she didn't want to talk about it. And I don't blame her. That's pretty traumatic watching stuff like that happen. Seeing it happen around you. You're covered in dust and smoke. A lot of that was asbestos. Some people who breathe that in it causes cancer, the asbestos. Mesothelioma. That's pretty scary. You die after such a traumatic experience. Oh well. I guess this is a way we cope. You know, we talk about our nightmares. We talk about all the scary stuff that happened. What was weird at Halloween, on Halloween, somebody hung an actual corpse outside, and people thought it was part of the Halloween decoration. And there was also a ride. There was a ride where there was a corpse in the ride, and people thought it was part of the ride, the Halloween, or, you know, the scary, you know, haunted house. I hear what was the name of that movie? It was a Spielberg movie. Poltergeist. You ever watch the very first Poltergeist? I know they did a remake, but the original Poltergeist with JoBeth Williams and Dominique Dunn, they had actual skeletons in that pool scene. Steven Spielberg thought it would be cheaper, or it was cheaper to have actual skeletons, and they didn't tell JoBeth Williams that she was swimming with actual skeletons. It's like, fun fact, creepy, scary. Could you imagine you're doing a scene and you're in a pool and there's real skeletons in there? Oh wow. There were a lot of sequels to that. It all had to do with Carol Ann, the character Carol Ann. I think her name was Holly. Heather or Holly. It's been a while. A lot of stuff happened during the making of. Also, Twilight Zone the movie. Somebody died during the making of Twilight Zone the movie. Also, Game of Death, the Bruce Lee movie Game of Death. They finished the movie after he died. After he died, you could tell that it was like the old-timey CGI. Oh, it's weird when you live history. I guess there's 0 people watching right now. I think I lost my audience. Talking about, you know what? It's traumatic. Remembering certain events that happened in history. I went to the Arizona Memorial. ATTA. What is that? Oh, Muhammad Atta. Yeah, that was during. Yeah, there were the conspirators. They had a list of people who they had like a lot of pictures of different people who were on the different flights. I guess this is the time we remember 9/11. And I remember hearing on the radio, the days that followed 9/11. I would be working and I'd listen to the radio and all the shows that I listened to, like the Don and Mike show, Rob Arney and Don, they would be talking about the 9/11, the whole thing, the whole thing that happened. I remember feeling that foreboding. A lot of people said they felt that foreboding. There was something happening before on the day of 9/11. They thought they were feeling a difference. I think that's what it is psychically there's been an imprint. There's been an imprint left by such a horrific event. So yeah, you never know who's in. Sus. How it burns. How it burns! But yeah, for my adult show, we could talk about stuff like that on my adult show. This one is the family show. This one's the family version. So yeah. In the Netherlands, last I checked, it was 9 o'clock in the Netherlands. So maybe later on when I do a show, I'll be able to get... It's weird having to be aware of all these different time zones. It burns! It burns! It sounds like, anyways, so I gotta save that for my... Adult shows are pretty funny. Pretty fun. A lot of people are having fun with the adult shows. Because you don't have to wait. You don't have to worry about what you say. Because it's an adult show. Here, family shows, we gotta be very careful. Because you never know who's watching. I encourage... There was a horror movie called Guinea Pig that was banned because it was so realistic. The Doctor. You know what? Another one was Cannibal Holocaust. There was a horror show called Cannibal Holocaust, and the people who made the movie, they thought it was a snuff film, so they called in the characters to prove to the judge that they weren't killed. So imagine the relief of the judge when the people who were in the movie showed up in court. Yeah, sometimes these movies are very realistic. Dawn of the Dead. I think I already talked about Dawn of the Dead. It's the 1978 version, and Tom Savini was a special effects guy. He's the only guy in the movie with a machete in this zombie movie. And if you go to my channel and click on Community, you'll be able to see it. It's your Halloween present. Yeah, Osama bin Laden are chilling in Cuba. You know what? I wouldn't doubt that. See, Jeffrey Epstein is alive. I know they were saying that he killed himself. He committed suicide in the jail cell he was in. Isn't it creepy? We're people who live in a world like that, where people don't have any problem of harming other people. And there's people out there who have they have no problem with that kind of behavior. And then there are those of us who just want to sleep well at night, knowing that no creeps are out there. A lot of people are let out. A lot of people they're walking among us who have the capability, who have that horrible capability. They are capable of such horrible deeds, and they're let back out of prison. Is that a little hat? If you look at COVID, I know it was amazing how quickly it spread around. And they say it gets in I heard that it gets into your eye, the mucous membranes in your eyes, your tears, air, you can walk into the COVID virus because it's airborne. People cough and sneeze, and it gets airborne. Richard Ramirez was a serial killer whose photo was published in the newspaper, and he got recognized and chased by random people. That's how he was caught. You know what? Another one was the Unabomber. I think his brother turned him in, if I remember right. The Unabomber. That was also in the 90s. I remember that at work. We actually prayed that the Unabomber would get caught. And he got caught. He got caught all right. He kind of looked like his picture, his composite drawing. The Unabomber. That guy would mail bombs to people. But then again, it's a buzzword now. If you say bomb or shooting, I guess you wind up on a list. It's crazy. It's a crazy world. All we can do is pray that we don't become mixed up in it. Because people can find out your address. All they have to do is remember your license plate number, and they can find out where you live. You could have a road rager following you. Yeah, I already read that. Well, I think it's time for me to go back to sleep. I got up for some weird reason. I said, I'm going to do a live. It's 4 o'clock. But you know what? The sun's not up yet. Maybe I can get more sleep. It's been good talking to you all. I'm glad you all joined me. And I guess the next one, I'll see you in the next one. You all have a good day.